Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. For today's video, I've been asked on Instagram to talk about the troll doll controversy that has very recently taken place. Specifically, I was asked to comment on whether there are any legal implications regarding the issue. Now, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, I will play out a video for you right now, and I have edited the video because I don't want to play the whole thing. The video is very self-explanatory, so let's get straight into it.
Okay, I wanted to do a quick video because I find this disturbing and I find it something that needs to be shared. As you all know, stuff that's been going on in the world about the sex trafficking in kids and things that are thrown in our kids' faces to kind of groom them and make them kind of a little bit more oblivious to things that are really happening. It was my daughter's birthday a couple days ago and she turned 2 and she was given this gift. It's like a little poppy doll. It's adorable. And here's the box. On the box, it says Giggle and Sing Poppy. On the back, it says that if you push her tummy right here, she makes 10 phrases and sounds, and that's all it talks about, and it comes with a little comb. She does all that. You touch her tummy, and she makes little singing sounds, and she's super cute. Well, I was showing her to my husband, and I heard some other sounds that I had never heard before. And if you look, down here is a button right here on her privates, and if you push those, she makes these sounds. Boop. Oh. Like a gasping sound. And I know some of you may not think this is a big deal, but especially since I've had kids, this is wrong. For one, this button, it says nothing about this button on the box. Nothing. It's just there, and it makes a gasping sound when you touch her privates, and to me it's just like sexual sounds, and it's so disturbing because you touch privates and she makes inappropriate sounds. Why does a little girl need that? She doesn't. And it actually, as a parent, makes me quite mad.
Before I delve into the topic, I do want to say that these dolls have been recalled officially as of a week from the day of filming. So it has already been dealt with by Hasbro, which is the company that manufactures these dolls. But the issue here is their initial reaction and how they initially handled this whole issue. And also the fact that this button was not disclosed on any of the packaging or marketing materials or advertising whatsoever. So let's break these two down. Firstly, the fact that they initially denied that it was even an issue and really downplayed the presence of this button. Specifically, this is what they said. This feature was designed to react when the doll was seated, but we recognize the placement of the sensor may be perceived as inappropriate. This was not intentional, and we are happy to provide consumers with a replacement Poppy doll of similar value through our consumer care team. We are in the process of removing the item for purchase. So with regards to the unintentional aspect of it, I personally find that incredibly difficult to believe. I think anyone of adult age understands that there is a very rigorous process that these products go through by the time they actually make it to the shelves. So there's research and design and planning, and these things are discussed and analyzed and researched in great detail. So saying that a button that was placed where genitalia would be, and then add the really strange and uncomfortable noises that the doll produces when you touch her there, it just becomes very difficult to believe, if not impossible, to believe that the placement was unintentional. Now, the point of this video isn't necessarily to talk about the cause of the controversy, because I think the lady in the video made it quite clear. Children are being sexualized, and it is very alarmingly becoming normalized in today's world. When a little girl or a little boy plays with that doll, this doll plants a very dangerous seed in the minds of these children, which is that it's okay to let someone touch you down there, and it's okay for you to react in the way that the doll reacts, which is gasping and giggling, and it's inappropriate responses to being touched there. Now, the second aspect of this issue is the lack of disclosure with regards to the presence of this feature in these dolls. And this is where the legal implications come in. There are also obviously intense moral and ethical considerations, such as the fact that this doll is marketed to children, and so Hasbro has an even higher threshold of responsibility to disclose this feature, simply by virtue of the fact that children are an incredibly vulnerable segment of the market, and parents have to make an informed decision before purchasing something of this sort for their child to play with. And this non-disclosure is what makes everyone believe that Hasbro knew exactly what they were doing, and they intentionally left the feature out so that parents will buy the product, because they probably knew, and rightfully so, that if this feature was advertised, it would not be taken very well. And in fact, once it was discovered by parents, it was indeed not taken very well, so much so that Hasbro had to recall the product. So I'm not a US-based attorney, and I had to do a little bit of digging to uncover whether Hasbro was in breach of any US laws. Now, I could be wrong, and I do welcome US-based attorneys to correct me, but I do believe that this is a potential breach of Section 5 of the Federal Trade Commission Act, which talks about unfair and deceptive practices. Section 5A of the FTC Act provides that unfair or deceptive acts or practices in or affecting commerce are declared unlawful. Deceptive practices has been defined in the Commission's policy statement on deception as involving a material representation, omission, or practice that is likely to mislead a consumer acting reasonably in these circumstances. So if you've watched my videos before, you know that I always break down a cause of action into its elements to see whether each of its elements have been satisfied, because that is what's required in order to bring a claim against that specific cause of action. So the first element is that the conduct is misleading or is likely to mislead. I think it's crystal clear in this situation that leaving out such an important feature has indeed misled parents across the United States. So we don't even need to look into whether it is likely to mislead, because the misleading has actually taken place, and this element is therefore satisfied. The second element is that the consumer's interpretation must be reasonable. And once again, when you see how uniform this reaction has been across the country, it is clear that it is a very reasonable interpretation to arrive at, simply because of the fact that it is such a uniform reaction. It's not like one consumer overreacted or reacted unreasonably towards this conduct. And finally, the misleading practice must be material, meaning that the act or the organization's conduct is likely to affect a consumer's decision on whether to purchase the product or service or not. In this case, it is incredibly clear that the omission on the part of Hasbro was material, because it did in fact influence whether people purchased this toy or not. If this button was advertised on the box, then it is very likely that this product would not have been purchased. And this is evidenced by the outrage that was expressed by parents and other adults as soon as this feature became known. And of course, it is further evidenced by the fact that the product itself had to be entirely recalled once the feature was uncovered. So as I said earlier in this video, Hasbro has already started to recall this product and pull it off the shelves. But does that mean that the FTC can't investigate and potentially bring a civil lawsuit against Hasbro for breaching Section 5 of the FTC Act? Not necessarily. So the fact that Hasbro took action doesn't preclude the FTC from taking action against them. So if these complaints are sent to the FTC will first investigate it, and then it can initiate an enforcement action if, based on its investigation, it has reason to believe that a law is being violated or has been violated. Take note of the past tense, so it doesn't need to be an ongoing or current violation. It could have happened in the past. And as for the answer to whether action will be taken by the FTC, I have no idea. Like I said, I don't live in the States, and I don't know how strictly the FTC Act is enforced, especially when corrective action has already been taken by the organization in question, which is Hasbro in this case. So I have no idea, but I think the desired result is already taking place, which is the removal of all these products. And hopefully, because Hasbro is such a huge company and this story is actually quite well known, hopefully it will set an example to other organizations out there who may think of misleading their consumers, especially vulnerable consumers such as children. That's it for today's video. Thank you for the question. I actually was completely unaware of this topic before I was asked to talk about it. As always, let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you even knew about this. Let me know if you have children. I personally don't have any children, so I don't even know what it must feel like for a parent to come to the realization that their child was playing with such a feature. It must be incredibly unsettling. And let me know if you actually have any kids who have been playing with these dolls. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll catch you in a future video.